Welcome to What Are You Sporting About podcast, a podcast about business, employment, sports, and entertainment to help educate, support, and guide you to your next level. Here's your host, attorney Savania DeBarros.
So as you know, the NFL draft has just wrapped up, and we have a current football player with us today who not long ago was sitting in the same seat as those same young men who were waiting for their names to be called. Good morning, Lerentee. How are you?
I'm doing well. Good morning, Savania.
So please tell us a little bit about yourself, where you grew up, and your experiences leading up to the draft day.
My name is Lerentee McCray. I grew up in Ocala, Florida. I graduated from Denver High School. It's a small town. I went to the University of Florida in 2008. Whereas, that was a big decision, to make a decision to go to the University of Florida because I grew up a Miami Hurricane fan, my whole life. And, I never even thought about going to Florida, but, being at home and just having the support of everybody and just seeing Gator Nation, just making frequent visits on Saturdays, that determined my decision to go to Florida. And, I felt like if I went to Florida at the time that I did, that I had a good chance of making it to the NFL because we had a real high statistic as far as guys that left Florida and, made their levy into the NFL. And then that pretty much led me to draft day. I had a good career at Florida. I don't regret anything. And I had a few injuries, but, I still was able to get a chance to play in the NFL. And now I'm here, going on my 8th season in the NFL and playing for the Jacksonville Jaguars, going on my 4th year here. And I was an undrafted free agent. So, it was definitely, something like on draft day that you just sitting there in anticipation to go to a team and, not having the team call my name or pick my name and, being able to be high on some draft boards. And I thought that I was getting a call, and then a lot of coaches calling me pre-draft. And then on draft day, it was nothing. I got none of those calls. I actually had a coach from the Jaguars call me every day saying that they were going to draft me in the 3rd or 4th round. And then that day came, and I got no call, not even when it was time to pick up priority free agents. I got
How did you feel, I guess, in that moment? You talked a lot about anticipation and working hard, and so one of the things that you did was you strategically planted yourself at a school that was not technically the one that you loved and was rooting for back in the day, but you strategically made a plan to be at a school that you felt would get you to where you wanted to go. And so once you found yourself in that position, how did you feel once draft day came and your name wasn't called? Like, take us through the emotion and what you did to remain true to yourself to get where you are now.
It was sad. It was like I was overwhelmed and sad at the same time. I was sad I didn't get my name called, but then I had to look at the positive side of it was I got to pick which team I wanted to go to because I became a priority free agent. So it was like if you would have got drafted in the 7th round, you might have went to a team that you didn't want to go to and got a little bit more on your signing bonus, but like you get to pick the perfect opportunity for you. And so I chose to go to the Denver Broncos because, I kind of idolize Peyton Manning. I like to emulate him, as a man. I feel like he's a great guy. And, being around him for 3 years, he was nothing short of that. And so, like, being around guys that took the game serious and they were ultimate pros. And, I just took that experience and I learned the game. And, I just learned the business side of it. And I learned my niche in the market. And, I just know how to stay employed and, get what I need to get out of the game and, just conduct business as it needs to be and not take anything personal or get emotional, just because things aren't going my way.
You said a mouthful. Lerentee, when you become a professional athlete, regardless of the sport that you're in, you become a part of an elite club. And so when you become a part of this elite club, there is a huge level of importance now to maintain who you are as an individual. So share with us how you have made sure that your self-authenticity has not been sullied, or like you're not trying to be someone that you're not now because you're a part of this elite club. Talk to us about how you've maintained that personal authenticity.
I mean, for me, it was just like I know where I come from, and I know like the pedigree. I know, my family, and I hold them near and dear to me. So, that's how I kept my approach to the game. I was always working with them for me. So, like I had to do what it was, to have better for my family. So that was one of my goals and one of my objectives, to meet going into the NFL was, that this is the fastest way, that my family, can get, to an average family income level, in America, than being below the poverty line, So, that's why I decided to play football. And then I just kept that same approach, and I've been who I was, and, took that same grind, and I just stayed hungry, and I just keep pushing forward, no matter what, because, to whom much is given, much is expected. And if they paying you money, you got to still put in the work. The work has just begun.
Right. Just begun. Walk us through a little bit, if there's some athletes or aspiring professional athletes on the call, talk to us about the transition between college and the pros, because I still feel like as a collegiate athlete, you are part of somewhat of an elite club, because not too many people, get the opportunity to play at the collegiate level, and especially a Division I collegiate level. So talk to us about how that transition from college to the pros was for you, and what kind of advice you may have for anyone who is going through that particular phase.
Okay. So for me, transition was fairly easy, and that was one of the reasons why I decided to go to Florida. At the time I did, just because I felt like this was one of the programs that had a lot of NFL scouts. They had a lot of players, getting recruited to go to the next level. So obviously the NFL felt that, the potential of these players was already there, and, they can hit the ground running. So I felt like, that was, we was pretty much the closest thing playing in the SEC and playing at Florida to the NFL from a physical standpoint. Now the transition from a mental approach, going in, having this money given to you, being able to manage this money, that's different, because now you gotta separate your eggs. You've been putting all your eggs in one basket your whole life, and that's playing football, to get to the point where you at. But now it's time to start separating your eggs. You got to diversify yourself, and you got to become more than the shell of I'm a football player. You got to become more than that. You got to look at different avenues. You can't go down Main Street all your life. You got to be able to hit Broadway and hit different avenues.
I love it. So what advice can you give to potential professional athletes and those who have found themselves now with the title of professional athlete as they begin to navigate the rigors of this new era in their lives?
Could you say that one more time?
Yes. What advice do you have for our young professional athletes, or those who are soon to be very close to becoming professional athletes as they start to navigate this new sporting era?
I would just tell them, let's always keep a workman's attitude, no matter where you are, what phase you're in your life. Just keep a workman's attitude. Always stay humble, stay true to yourself. Just inspire to always do more. Aspire to, educate yourself beyond what you know now, because you can never live life without educating. And the more you live, the more you should educate yourself on things that's going on under the sun, because there's so much information that's, to be obtained out here. And then as with the platform that you have and the resources that are around you, just take advantage of them. Don't, cherish the relationships that you have with the people that surround you, that you work with on a day-to-day basis, because you are the elite of the elite. and then just pick people's brain. Just, always, try to acquire more knowledge, acquire more wisdom, and then just, spiritually, to stay spiritually inclined and keep God first.
I love it, Lerentee. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thanks for joining us this week on What Are You Sporting About podcast. Make sure to visit our website, prosportlawyer.com, where you can subscribe to the show in iTunes, Stitcher, or whatever your favorite platform is, so you'll never miss a show. And while you're at it, if you found value in the show, we'd appreciate a rating on iTunes or iHeartRadio. Or if you'd simply tell a friend about the show, that would help us out too. If you like the show, you might want to check out our book, What Are You Sporting About? Attorney Savania DeBarros is available for private consulting at sldebarros.com. And remember, we're here to educate, support, and guide you in your journey to success, because we're all sporting about something.